If you've been scrolling through endless forums, watching YouTube demos, and still feel like the perfect CNC router is a myth, you're not alone. I know the feeling, spending hours comparing a desktop-sized machine that looks like a tiny metal box to a full-size industrial router that would need a whole garage, and then wondering which one actually makes sense for a hobbyist or small business shop. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through why the next wave Shark SD110 might be the sweet spot you've been hunting for, or why it could be a misstep for your particular workflow. First off, let's talk about the everyday setup. The Shark SD110 arrives fully assembled, which is a relief for anyone who's never wrestled with a 30-piece kit. The rigidity of the aluminum tabletop is where the name interlocking slotted starts to matter. Those slots let you place a clamp almost anywhere along the work surface, so you can secure odd-shaped pieces of wood, acrylic, or even thin aluminum without fighting for a perfect fit. In real-world terms, if you're a maker who likes to switch between a 12-12-inch wooden sign and a 10-10-inch acrylic panel, you'll spend a few seconds aligning the part, tightening a hold-down clamp, and you're ready to run the job. That kind of flexibility saves the kind of time that adds up after a dozen projects. Now, you might be thinking, what about software? I'm not a CAD wizard. Next wave includes a Vectric Vcarve Desktop license worth $349. That's not a small number, and it shows up on the box as a real value add, not a marketing gimmick. In practice, Vcarve Desktop is a fairly intuitive program for carving 2D designs into wood or engraving text onto acrylic. Because it's bundled, you won't have to hunt for a separate purchase, and the learning curve is gentle enough that a weekend hobbyist can get a decent project out of it without spending a month in tutorials. The downside is that Vcarve isn't the most robust option for highly complex 3D toolpaths. If you aim to produce intricate aerospace-grade components, you'll quickly outgrow the software and need to upgrade to a more powerful suite. One of the biggest concerns I hear from people on the fence is the material limitation. Can this little machine really handle non-ferrous metals? The short answer is yes, but with qualifications. The SD110 spindle is designed for a 1/8-inch CH carbide bit, which will happily cut soft aluminum or brass up to a few millimeters thick if you set the feed rates low and keep the tool sharp. In my own testing, a 2mm aluminum sheet gave clean edges without any noticeable burr, provided the workpiece was well clamped and the spindle speed was dialed back to around 15 kRPM. Anything thicker than 4mm, however, started to show the limits. Chip evacuation slowed, and the motor began to feel strained. So, if your business revolves around machining solid metal parts, this is not the platform to build your production line on. But for decorative metal signage or light-duty hardware prototypes, it does the job. The 2-year warranty and USA-based technical support are worth highlighting because the CNC market is notorious for manufacturers that ship a product and then disappear. When I tried dialing the support line during a midsummer heat wave, a real person answered within a few rings and guided me through a minor firmware update. The fact that Next Wave manufactures the router stateside also cuts down on potential customs headaches if you're based in the US, which is a practical advantage you don't see in many Asian-sourced kits. Let's talk money. The Shark SD110 sits in a price bracket that hovers around the $2,000 to $500 range, depending on current Amazon pricing. That's a step up from entry-level hobbyist routers that often cost under $1,000 but lack a sturdy work surface and come without a software license. The value proposition, then, is built on the combination of a solid aluminum frame, the included bit, and the Vcarve license. If you compare that to buying a separate router, 2 clamps, and a $349 software subscription, the bundled price starts to feel justified. However, the price tag still assumes you'll actually use the machine regularly. A buyer who only plans to run a few weekend projects may find the cost hard to rationalize when a cheaper, less feature-heavy option could serve the same purpose. Who should buy the Shark SD110? In my view, the sweet spot is a small shop maker or a serious hobbyist who wants a turnkey solution that can handle a variety of materials without needing to upgrade hardware after a few months. If you already own a decent CNC router and are just looking for a backup desktop unit, you probably have more capabilities than you need. Likewise, anyone whose primary interest is in heavy metal machining, high-speed production runs, or deep pocketing on thick hardwood should consider a larger, more powerful machine. The SD110 shines when you need precision on modestly sized pieces, quick material changes, and an all-in-one package that reduces the "what do I need to buy next" anxiety. On the flip side,